Hello and welcome to Focus on Israel and the Palestinian Territories. My name is Paul Calvert. Proverbs 12 verse 6 says this: "The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them." I'm with David Bedein from the Israel Resource News Agency Center based at the Near East Policy Research. Now, David, what is this organization?
This agency was started 30 years ago in order to bring material, facts, analysis, understanding of what's going on in Israel to counter the massive effort of misinformation and disinformation that Israel has to cope with right now. We're a private agency as opposed to a public agency, and we work professionally with the foreign press.
Now, you've published dozens of investigative reports and documentary films. What sort of subjects are they about?
The most important subject that we've dealt with is UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Work Agency, which keeps 59 refugee camps of people from the 1948 war, basically their descendants. And they keep them there under the premise and promise of the right of return, and basically initiating a system to indoctrinate children, 500,000 children, that they're going to take back their homes from 1948 by force of arms.
Now, we're coming to a new school year. Tell us a little bit about the Palestinian Authority's school books used in the UNRWA schools.
Over the past year, the Center for Near East Policy Research has received and examined and translated all 200 main school books of the Palestinian Authority used in the UNRWA schools. They're basically a tool to train children to take back their homes in 48 by questioning the legitimacy of Israel, by calling for the armed struggle, by denying that the Jews have any right to be anywhere in the land of Israel, in what they call Palestine. And this is done through a very systematic way. There's new school books that were introduced 17 years ago, which our agency has been evaluating ever since. And the school books are more and more clear in terms of trying to establish an independent Palestinian Arab state to replace Israel. And this is being promoted through UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Work Agency.
Shouldn't UNRWA be unbiased?
UNRWA, as a United Nations agency, should have schools that promote peace and reconciliation. That's the opposite of what's going on. The UNRWA singer, there's a singer named Mohammed Asaf, who sings songs about killing Jews, and he's the youth idol of UNRWA. The schools should be dedicated to peace. Instead, the UNRWA schools are dedicated to war.
And America gives money to UNRWA, don't know how much they give?
The United States gives about $400 million a year to UNRWA. That's 1/3 of the budget, and they have a lot of responsibility. One of the reasons the United States doesn't know what's going on in UNRWA is UNRWA puts out massive, unclear, inaccurate information about what they're doing. They try to give the idea that it's an innocuous refugee agency, which is just teaching children the basics of life and maintaining the refugee camps in a nice way. They have no idea from the official channels what's going on.
And what sort of incitement is in these books?
Well, there's an incitement that children sing songs about jihad, the holy war, sing songs about, have curricula about praising those who kill Jews and die in the process. Maps of all of Israel, of Palestine, replace Israel. There's no such thing as a Jewish city. It's all Arab cities. This year they fabricated an idea that Tel Aviv was built on an Arab city called Tel Arabia before 1908. It was based on sand dunes. But the children this year, the beginning of the school year, will be learning that Tel Aviv was replaced an Arab village, which never happened.
And what sort of age are these children that are learning this?
The children go from age 6 to 16.
So we're going to basically see in the future a generation with even more anger, are we?
Oh yes, the new generation cultivated by the Palestinian Authority schools in UNRWA. Now again, this is a new curriculum which came into force on August 1st, 2000. Our agency, the Center for Near East Policy Research, was the first agency to receive the books. We spoke to Yasser Arafat, the head of the PLO at the time, and said, "When are you going to be speaking words of peace?" He said, "Please go see my books." So we did. We were the first ones. And now we've had 17 years of not a peace education, but inculcating war education. And that's the basically Arafat and now Abbas preparing their people for war through the children, through the schools.
Everybody has a part to play in this war, don't they?
Oh yes. Well, the most important thing from their point of view, the Palestinian Authority point of view is how you get the children involved. They model on manipulations that were done in Cuba, in Vietnam, in Algeria, of trying to say it's a children's struggle, trying to, as a matter of fact, we've seen documents that came out of Arafat's headquarters in 2002 when the IDF went in there, one of which was Arafat asking his team, his cabinet, we don't have enough dead children this week. We do not have enough dead children this week. What are we going to do about that? And the role of a martyred child now with new state-of-the-art techniques, our agency has been producing films of the UNRWA summer camps, where many of them are, the children are learning the art of weapons training. And children go through a YouTube photo session so that if little Muhammad or little Mustafa will die when he rushes the Israeli troops, then they'll have the recording of this of the nice peaceful child.
And is this to get the rest of the world on side?
The manipulation of getting the rest of the world on the Arab side is being used. First, it was for everyone to forget that there's 22 Arab countries at war with the state of Israel, and to try to say it's little Palestine against the Israeli Goliath, and by showing the imagery of children on the front lines, no one can really. In the West, it's very difficult to conceptualize the idea that Arab children are on the front line because they're sent there.
Now, what is jihad, and are they teaching jihad in the schools?
The jihad is the call for a warlike personality and a warlike situation in the name of Allah, in the name of God. And this is one of the foci of the Palestinian Authority UNRWA education. One would think that Palestinian Authority is more secular and Hamas is more religious, but they work together. We've interviewed 4 consecutive Palestinian Authority ministers of education. All of them make it very clear that the same curriculum is taught everywhere, to Hamas, to UNRWA, to Fatah, to all the different Arab schools. And so it's basically war education, holy war education.
So this is what we're seeing with UNRWA. What are we seeing with UNESCO, which is another UN department with regards to the Temple Mount?
UNESCO, even though they've been trying to redefine Jewish holy sites as Muslim holy sites, with UNESCO, at least the people in Israel can dialogue. They have a board of directors. They listen. As a journalist, I've met with people in UNESCO, and I found them to be listening. I'm not saying that they're balanced, but at least they're listening. They have a board of directors, and they're from around the world. They're ready to go through education. And the difference between UNESCO and UNRWA is night and day. UNRWA has no board. UNRWA is totally, since 1949, it's been around that long, encouraging everyone to take back their homes by force of arms. There's nothing subtle about it. And of course, they have transformed in their school books. UNRWA has transformed in their school books every Jewish holy site into a Muslim holy site.
And that's what's been happening with UNESCO, saying that they're actually Arab holy sites now, isn't it?
Absolutely. What UNESCO has done is try to take Rachel's tomb and said that this was in memory of a Muslim leader. They try to say it in terms of Abraham, the Maqbila, the cave of the Maqbila, that this was a tomb only for Muslim Muslim saints, you might call it, and this can be challenged.
Yeah.
All you have to do is open Genesis 33, and there it is, where Abraham buys the cave of the Maqbila for 400 shekels, and that's it. And then that's the first purchase made in the land of Israel.
So the UN has become extremely anti-Israel, hasn't it?
The United Nations has never been pro-Israel. The United Nations General Assembly has the automatic pro-Arab majority, and that's what makes things click. What's very important is that UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Work Agency, works under the aegis of the United Nations General Assembly, which has its bias and its attitude.
Now, just recently, the General Secretary of the United Nations was here in Israel. Did you get a chance to speak to him?
I spoke yesterday. He spoke in Tel Aviv after being in Gaza, and I asked him, "What do you know about the Palestinian war, the war education curriculum of the Palestinian Authority used by UNRWA? Is that right that you should be doing that?" And he wasn't defensive at all. He said he wanted to learn more about it. So I found the UN Secretary General willing to listen, willing to look at it, look at material, and I would encourage your readers to look at our website, which is israelbehindthenews.com. Look at what's on the website about the schools, and we have Arab and Jewish translators. And if you want to express your concern to the Secretary General, I think he'll be listening.
Should we be writing to the UN and seeing if we can see change?
Absolutely. I think it's very important. Take a look at our website, IsraelBehindTheNews.com. You'll see excerpts of our books and our studies and everything. It's been around. It's a website that's been around for 20 years. And then quote it and ask the UN Secretary General, is this appropriate for an agency that's supposed to have as its theme, peace starts here? Instead, you see war education. So asking the more people who write to him, we don't need thousands of people, but if 10, 20, 30 people as a result of hearing this interview were to write the Secretary General of the United Nations some tough questions, that would greatly affect policy.
What's your prayer for the future?
My prayer for the future is for a victory for Israel in the war. Yitzhak Rabin, Israel's late prime minister, used to say, the war in 1948 never ended. And the war was declared, a war of extermination was declared by the Arab states on the day that Israel began, on May 14th, 1948. And my hope, both as a person of integrity, as a Jew, as a social work professional, is to see the resolution of the war, and that Israel wins the war, and that there finally be what we needed to have with World War II, an unconditional surrender by the Arab states, the League of Arab Nations, which are still in war with Israel. I know that because God gave me a finger and a telephone, and occasionally I call the League of Nations and Arab nations, and are you still at war with Israel? The answer is absolutely.
And what's your website again for people who'd like to know more?
Our website is IsraelBehindTheNews.com. You'll see about 15 of our short films we've made in the schools, in the UNRWA schools. You'll see our interviews. You'll see our studies about UNRWA. You'll see a lot of commentary, which the expression we like to use is, let my people know.
Great. Well, thank you very much, David, for sharing.
My pleasure. Thank you. And you'll see also the contact information for our office, Israel Resource News Agency at the Center for Near East Policy Research. We also are hired often now to give Skype lectures. You know, it's expensive to fly people over places, but for a fee of a minimum fee, we can have our Arabs and Jews come together in an office and do a Skype lecture for you, so that you can increase your knowledge of what's going on here in Israel. Which I've been here in 40. You see, I don't speak with an accent because I came from America 47 years ago, from the city of Philadelphia to Israel 47 years ago today. August 31st, 1970 is the day I came here. And I'm pleased to bring our experts, Arab and Israeli experts, to meet with groups and answer questions.
If you'd like to know more about our show, you can join us on Facebook. Just look for Focus on Israel-Radio. Ezekiel 37 verse 4-6 says this, Again he said to me, Prophesy to these bones, and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God of these bones, Surely I will cause breath to enter into you, and you shall live. I will put sinners on you, and bring flesh upon you, cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and you shall live. Then you shall know that I am the Lord, and the Jews will receive the real shalom peace.